Hello everyone, my name is Vatsal and welcome back to Season 4, Episode 8 of College to Corporate Insights Unplugged. Today we are delighted to have Mr. Pushkar Deole with us, who will be sharing his valuable experiences and insights on architecting innovation in the tech world. Let's jump right into this exciting conversation. Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome back to College to Corporate Insights Unplugged Season 4, Episode 8. I am Vatsal, your host for today from Corporate Connect Club of IBS Mumbai. I'm truly excited to bring you another powered package episode where we decode the real world corporate journeys and bridge the gap between classrooms and boardroom. Today's episode features a leader who has spent 24 years at the intersection of complex software architecture and large scale business transformation. Joining us today is Mr. Pushkar Deole, a senior principal software engineer and software architect. With over 2 decades of experience across global giants, Mr. Deole has specialized in aligning intricate technical designs with high level business solutioning. He is an award winning professional, recipient of VM Software Appreciation Award and multiple prestigious honors from IBM, including the Bravo, the Best of IBM, and Customer Dedication Award. Furthermore, he is a prolific innovator holding 20 granted US patents, showcasing a rare ability to turn technical problem solving into valuable intellectual property. Sir, welcome to the show. It is a privilege to have you with us and to learn from your journey.
Okay, first of all, thanks, Vatsal, and I would like to thank you and your team for inviting me here, and glad to be here.
Wonderful, sir. So, with your permission, can we start with the questions?
Yeah, sure, we can.
So, sir, in MBA world, like we often discuss the transition from operational excellence to strategic leadership. Looking at your 24-year trajectory from an engineer to a software architect, what was the most significant shift you had to make in your mental model to stop looking at systems as just code and start seeing them as valuable business drivers?
Okay, I would say that's a very good question. So indeed, during my initial days, I used to look at system as just a piece of code. However, as time passed by and I went up in my career, taking on more responsibilities, sorry, I had the opportunity to travel around the world and to meet our customers, to interact with our customers who were using these systems. And while closely working with them, I basically, observed how they use the systems, how they looked at each and every feature in detail, how they tested the systems, etc. And that's when I realized the importance of these systems to the customers because these systems were so important for them because their entire business was dependent on these systems. So that's when I realized that the systems are not just a piece of code, but they have the entire business logic hidden under them. And that's when I started understanding the customer's business well. I realized that the systems that we are building should be built actually by taking into consideration the customer's business in mind. And as system engineers and architects, we should not just think about the code, but we should also learn about the customer's business. We should incorporate again a very good question, and I think you hit the nail on the head with this question,
Yes.
Vatsal. You are absolutely right that as architects we have to balance this management pressure between time to market and also minimizing the technical debt at the same time. But one will have to look at the bigger picture rather than focusing on some parts of a larger picture. So when you are after a rapid time to market without following proper architecture or proper design, then at some point in future you are bound to fail. Okay. And it does turn around as a boomerang and hits you in your face. So consider that you build a system and deliver it let's say in 3 months without giving attention to the proper architecture or proper distributed architecture. So initially the system will work well, because the user base that is using that system is quite small. But as time passes by, more and more users start using that system, and more concurrent users start hitting the system. So you start finding issues at that time, because your system starts crawling, it starts degrading in performance, and after some time it comes to a complete halt, with several hours of downtime. So such systems provide a short term gain to customers or to business, but in a long term they fail badly and they impact the customer's business badly. Okay. So in such cases, there, of course, there are some cases which require you to deliver a system quite fast, because customers need them. So in such cases we have to compromise some of the design decisions, definitely, in order to deliver something fast. But if we compromise those design aspects, we do provide some workarounds to the customers, and we do make sure that these design aspects are addressed sooner in our backlog without building significant debt. So that's how we have to balance the time to market decisions along with the technical debt.
Okay, it's a great answer. Thank you so much. Like you are spending time and you are here and answering like whatever the questions that we have. Like as we are also going to enter corporate, some of us already are in and like we will be. So next question from my side or whatever I feel. Like so you hold 20 US patents like in an era where the most companies treat innovation as buzzword. So how do you practically foster a culture of intellectual property creation within a structured corporate environment like Avaya or VMware to create a sustainable competitive advantage?
Okay. Yeah, we all know that innovation is very important in this world. Okay. And we have seen this in reality as well. We have seen many great companies collapse because they did not keep pace with time, because they did not innovate, and they kept on embracing the legacy technology. On the contrary, we have also seen some companies became great because they kept on innovating, and today they are counted in top 5 companies in the world. So I don't need to name them, everyone knows who they are. Okay, but coming back to original question, myself and my team has been at the forefront of filing patents in previous companies, and we have also done quite a significant work in order to foster this culture within the organization. So we have been conducting seminars, we have been publishing articles in the monthly news bulletins or monthly newsletters, and we have also received support from management from time to time, and management has also done significant work to foster this culture within the organization. Like they have done some initiatives like putting up a patent wall in the company, on which the patent holders pictures and their description is kind of displayed on a patent wall. Also they have the patent holders profiles on the display screen on the company entrance, etc. So uh, I would say it's a mixed effort uh, done by me and my team, along with support received from our management to foster this culture within our organization.
Okay, thank you, sir. Great answer again. Sir, as you have worked with diverse stakeholders across global giant locations, like each with different priorities. So when the business requirements are unclear of conflicting, so how do you align expectations and translate them into a technical architecture that balances the client's vision with the project feasibility?
Okay. Yeah, you are right. I mean, sometimes the requirements are quite ambiguous, or they are not clear, or they are conflicting. But the first task or first step after receiving requirements from customer is to break it down into features and further break it down into user stories. These are
Okay.
bit technical terms, but user stories is nothing but a description of feature from the end user's perspective. So if some end user
Right, sir.
if is using that system, how he will perceive each and every feature of that system is nothing but a user story. So once we have defined user stories for the requirement, then it gives us a very granular level picture. So the framework we have defined is at the user story level. Once you have breakdown of a requirement into different user stories, we then analyze each and every user story from different design aspects like quality, of course, from functional point of view, and there are different aspects from the non-functional point of view. So we have built this framework to kind of analyze each and every user story from different non-functional requirements like security, scalability, performance, high availability, and fault tolerance, etc. So all these aspects, along with the functional aspects, which are related to the quality, need to be taken into consideration in order to, turn these ambiguous requirements into, proper feasible tasks for the system to be delivered.
So like functional and quality, like both, like you need to have both in order to like get it done.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, so your IBM Bravo and VMware Appreciation Awards were linked to often solving high severity issues. So beyond technical fix, what does a high severity crisis teach a leader about organizational resilience and maintaining team morale under extreme pressure?
Okay. Yeah, you are right. In my career, I have handled many high severity issues and crises and situations. Okay, so mostly they were on the performance front. So when you have a release deadline and your system is not performing or it's not scaling or it degrades in performance, during a longevity test, or sometimes it totally fails during a longevity test. So in such situations, it's very important to keep your cool and keep the team morale intact and lead from the front. So many times I have directly jumped into such issues and provided insights on what the next step should be or what should be the next action plan. It's very important to keep cool during such crisis, jot down a clear action plan, and divide the tasks among the team and assign a specific task to each team member, so entire team remains focused on the sole issue at hand, which is
Right, sir.
blocking the release. So I think apart from the technical fix, keeping a cool and raising the morale of the team is important, along with a clear action plan and dividing the tasks among the team members to keep the entire team focused, which is very important to solve such issues apart from the technical fix. Yeah.
That was very insightful. So now it's time for a quick rapid fire round. So I'll be providing you four strategic options, and please pick the one that best reflects your professional philosophy. So,
Okay.
so should I begin with the rapid fire round?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So I'll be giving you four options. So the question one or round one, that is, so which is the most critical pillar for a sustainable tech business? A, disruptive innovation. B, operational stability. C, speed of execution. Or D, customer centric design.
Okay. I think disruptive innovation is important, but in the long run, I think that customer centric design is something that matters most to a business. So yeah, I will go with customer centric design.
Yes, sir. So the next question, like when faced with a massive technological shift like cloud native transformation, what is the biggest risk? Option A, talent or skill gap. Option B, integration complexity. Option C, legacy mindset. Or option D, infrastructure cost.
Uh, the biggest risk with massive shift like cloud, cloud native transformations, in my
Right.
opinion, is still the legacy mindset. Because talent or skill gaps can be bridged, by training or, by recruiting a fresh talent. But if you don't change your mindset, then you still can't, carry out such transformations successfully. And I have seen in reality that such transformations have failed solely due to this reason, the legacy mindset.
Yes, sir. Question three. In your view, what makes a software architect successful in a boardroom? A, technical depth. B, emotional intelligence. C, strategic alignment with business goals. Or D, risk mitigation skills.
Uh, Technical depth is important, definitely, but more than that, I think for a software architect, it's important to have, strategic alignment with business goals, because at the end, the architectures or designs that you are building are for the customer and, for the business. So that factor carries topmost priority, in my opinion.
So, question three. What is the most common pitfall for MBA students, MBA graduates entering the tech industry? Over reliance on theoretical frameworks, underestimating technical constraints, focusing solely on short-term ROI, or poor communication with engineering teams.
Uh, so in my view, a common pitfall, and that is from my experience, for MBA graduates entering tech is probably communication with the engineering teams. For any MBA graduate to succeed in tech industry, I think it is important to have technical background and not just the management background. So if you can communicate properly with engineering teams in the technical language, then the candidate can be more successful than a candidate with pure managerial skills or pure managerial background without any technical knowledge. However, I think that this gap is, nowadays can be breached by different courses that are available even under the MBA program as well. Like, we have MBA in IT, or we have also MBA in software management, which can be useful to bridge this gap between a pure managerial skill and something called techno managerial skills. So yeah, I think it's important for MBA graduates to have some communication with the technical or engineering teams in a proper way to be successful.
Yeah. So question five, what defines quality in a global enterprise deliverable? A, zero bug policy. B, performance and scalability. C, user experience. Or D, adherence to engineering standards or methodologies.
Okay, first of all, there is nothing as zero bug policy. You can never have a product or software which is having zero bugs. So I think that option gets ruled out. I think I would say last option that you said, which is not the least, is the adherence to engineering methodologies and principles and standards. So these methodologies and standards have been established after a wide research, after years of research and studies. In order to build a software that is of good quality, that satisfies customers' need and that sustains over a long term. These studies have been carried out and these standards have been established. So, adherence to engineering methodologies and principle always carries topmost priority.
Thank you, sir. That was illuminating. Now come to the final question, which is dedicated entirely to our listeners. Like based on 24 years of leading large-scale initiatives and driving innovation, what recommendations would you offer to MBA students who aspire to lead in a technology-driven corporate world of tomorrow?
Okay. My only advice to the young aspirants would always be to, keep pace with the moving technology. Even if you are an MBA graduate, it's important to know what advances are happening in the technology, where the world is moving, and how we can also make use of that technology in our day-to-day work, in our day-to-day tasks. So yeah, I think the only advice is, keep learning, keep your hunger on, and always keep learning new technologies and new advances that are happening, and keep pace with the moving world. That's the only advice I have.
Thank you so much, sir. That was truly insightful and inspiring. And to our listeners, for tuning into season 4, episode 8 of Corporate Insights Unplugged. We hope you found this deep dive into architecture, innovation strategy, and leadership both insightful and inspiring. Do remember to subscribe to our podcast on a preferred platform so you never miss an episode. We look forward to bringing you more conversation with industry leaders who help you bridge the gap between college learning and corporate realities. Until then, wishing you